Welcome, guys, to the Pursuit of Happy Business. Today's a special day. We have a special guest, Mr. Sam Burns, in the house. And Sam is an expert in many, many avenues, but the one that we're going to talk about is manhandling. We're going to talk about what, the 12 Commandments?
The 12 Commandments.
I always thought there was 10. Yeah?
It's extra credit.
Extra credit.
Extra
They've
credit.
Evolved. That makes sense, you know. It's like an evolution of. So anyway, Sammy's going to talk about the 12 Commandments. We've worked together for many, many years. I've been stealing material from this young man forever. He had a huge influence on our Mitch launch, which I'm sure out there in the world, what you guys are listening, you're aware of. So we want to talk men today, Sammy. Welcome.
Thank you. So why I'm so excited is, it's been about 15 years since we started this journey of really getting us focused in on what used to be a niche market and is now a mass market with the release of Mitch products and our whole global initiative at John Paul Mitchell Systems of getting hairdressers to see what is really 50% of the population. So in putting together these business ideas, I researched and from your direction came up with some ideas that I've narrowed down to about 12 commandments. The first one is measurement. It's a $61 billion industry. That's huge. It's grown 70% in 5 years. To put that in perspective, the women's grooming industry has only grown 6%.
Yeah, that makes it, it makes sense. It's a new generation, so you're seeing a lot more activity. Justin Bieber, everybody mocks me for this, but I checked on YouTube. This guy's haircut, it must be a Tupperware dish number 4, had like 4 million hits of the kind of how-to. How does he get his little mop head? I mean, and that's curiosity, right?
Right. Well, he whips his hair back and forth and whips his hair back and forth. Men spend an average of 51 minutes a day on grooming. Now, it's not, blow drying their hair with a smoothing iron. It's, a lot of guys have 2 sets of products, one for travel or gym and one at home. Between shaving, personal grooming, the men's hair care market or the men's grooming market isn't just about deodorants and Irish Spring. It's a whole big initiative from Axe body sprays to it's huge.
Yeah, especially Axe was something very unique because it was marketing to non-users. No little young adolescent cared how he smelled before. And then suddenly they created this new kind of want and lust that people were kind of into it. So I think we got to play the same game. Just as a little background, and I can't help it, you used to own a salon called Hello Gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Now, I used to role play here, guys. You can do this with me. So here's Sammy picking up the phone. Hello, gorgeous. I just think that's too much. Now, that's clever. But Sammy's real mission in life was to attract men into his business. So not only was the name of the salon Hello Gorgeous, he was marketing to men. Now, come on, that's got to be pretty tough.
Well, I mean, it was a bit daunting, but, you have to understand that first of all, I opened up that salon with just $3,000 worth of Paul Mitchell, virtually no guests whatsoever, which is insane to begin with. And I wanted a niche. I wanted something that would drop, like a big rock in a small pond. So Hello Gorgeous was a great way to greet people. And did I find it a bit daunting the first year of getting men to come into the salon? Yeah. So we had to...
Because Home Depot may have done you better. Sure. I'm just saying. But that gives you a little idea, guys, as a visionary and a hopeful and a contender that believes things are possible. That's an uphill drag. But anyway, I want to get you back. So going back to that, I think you hit a little niche there. When you hear 51 minutes styling time, I had a guy who I know real well. I'm not going to use his name because this goes everywhere. He said, I don't concur with that. It only takes me 6-7 minutes. Are we talking 51 minutes for the metrosexual? Or do you think all men are capable of looking in the mirror, working? Are we talking, facial hair, ears, nose? What are we talking here for 51
minutes? First of all, if we take in gym time, that makes it much, much more than 51 minutes.
Oh, I see. So we're incorporating the vanity skill set here as part of the grooming part is getting the body toned like we do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to understand that I think looking good has really gone mainstream. It's not just for metrosexuals. It's not just for, a few out of, 2 out of 5 men. Every guy now, as he's aging in both the boardroom and the bedroom, whether he's leaving home for the very first time, whether he's getting ready to start his own family, he cares about his personal appearance. And those young men, particularly 18 to 25, that young niche demographic, are looking for products and services targeted just towards them, the Axe for Men guys. And they want to be a part of it. They want to know that whenever they come into your salons, that they have products targeted just towards them, that you have a little area just for them. And so they do spend more time on grooming than, let's say, my grandfather did.
Okay. Back in 1873. Well, you can take that to the bank. There's a quantum leap forward.
He was an Old Spice kind of guy.
Okay, I warned you this is going to get a little crazy here. Well, I was just thinking I could keep your bedroom out of the board room.
Okay.
Would be the key to being the Mitch man.
For sure.
So anyway, something you hit on there, you've been talking about the look of it. And I just got to say, we got very excited, not just excited to kind of wrap around the Mitch concept, but more just to change our real estate. Because I really feel as a salon that offers tours and making first impressions that the real estate can speak volumes about your business. So we went all out, painted a wall yellow, recovered some furniture that was existing in red, so that we really took the keynote colors of Mitch and really identified with it. Yesterday we finished off our take-home area, which is still getting some add-on sort of things to it, but the real luxury and the part that I start off as the visionary is the real estate. What are you going to do? What's going to really be, appropriate for man? I mean, are we trying to build more men? One of the greatest responses I heard was a young lady said to me, we don't have a lot of men in our salon, so this wouldn't work for us. And we said, well, actually, this would be the greatest way for you to get more men in the salon, because it was about the female. So we figured by coming up with this pure carved out real estate towards men that every female guest in our salon right now is talking about Mitch. They're already anticipating, they're making some of the buying decisions for that alternative bathroom or the man in their life, which we'll kind of get to. But let's talk about what types of things in the build out, how should we look, what should we be reading, all that kind of stuff. If we're really going to make a commitment to seeing more men in our salon or servicing men even further.
Well, that's my second commandment, environment. As the male market rises, salons are creating specific just for men grooming areas. Now, you don't have to go out and knock down a wall and build a man cave or a grooming lounge, but little areas that just say this is a men's hair fitness center with Men's Health Magazine, Details, GQ, so that when men are coming into your salons, they have a new manscape, a groom with a view, if you will. Just posters that say, we do guys' hair. No guy wants to have a pink lace cape on his head with, blue and jaw clamps, but by putting your clippers out, your Mitch products in a male-specific area, it will help double your men's business.
Uh-huh. One statistic I loved in that, men's hair color, 1 out of every 8 men do hair color. That just is, again, salon owner. I'm like, wow, what a possibility. Just to get to 2 would be fantastic. 2 out of every 8. So that's a definite place to grow that really changes a lot of things. It changes the typical average ticket price, because traditionally men just getting a haircut can be a little smaller. But if you can multiply that with multiple experiences, multiple services, that's a big part of our initiative at Paul Mitchell, of why we think this is vital, not just purely for the take home, but truly as a vehicle to build more service revenue through your business. So we talk about the environment. Whatever budget, I think is what you said there. It doesn't mean it need to be limited. If you have the resources, go nuts.
For sure.
Build your man cave. Bring the
sure.
keganator.
Yeah.
And hot dogs, all the things men like. Pumpkin pie is a favorite. But if you're limited, and again, even though we have a large company, we're limited by the resource we can afford to go all out. So a lot of this is imagination. It's being clever with it. And again, getting the team around it. We were in our salon over the weekend. We had maybe 25 team members in our downtown location just revamping. Think of it as our summer clean. We threw a lot of stuff out. We resurfaced the floor for our guest protection. But a lot of the time was spent just reimagining take home, reimagining where we provide service, making a bigger deal about the wash house. This is a constant. So the environment, you talked about the magazines. What other ways can we communicate to build more men into the salon?
Well, if you need ideas, and my suggestion would be to go to your local department store. Local department stores are increasing the square footage of their men's shopping areas tremendously. Look at how they market, men's colognes, men's skincare, even how they market suits. It's a whole different men's buying area. It looks and speaks to a male point of view.
Yeah.
So that's a great way to just take some little tidbits from Nordstrom's, from Neiman Marcus, or even from Banana Republic and see how they draw in and have a guy's point of view and that kind of eye-catching display that makes men want to spend more money in your salon.
Well, even, I brought this up on the Mitch DVD to the business point, and I just loved it because I eat there from time to time as Morton's. And a lot of steakhouses, and just in case you don't know out there, it's the place business is done. It's like the golf course. It's where you go after golf, ladies. It's where your man is when he's out of town. He's not at an exposed breast bar. He is actually probably at a steakhouse somewhere. And Morton's being a brand name that we probably can identify with, the way in which they present at Morton's is very geared towards men. Each steak is presented so they get visually attached to it. They're going through, and every little part about it is so geared towards that, getting them involved with it. So not just being there like what's today's specials and rhyming off 12 items. The guy's got no aspect. He wants to know what cut it is, how much fat, how much marbleization does it have, every little bit. And instead of it being words that float around the atmosphere, every steak is kind of wrapped in saran wrap, so they're actually presenting it like it's a diamond ring, ladies. Each cut, each particular uniqueness of everything, right down to the lobster that comes out, and the sucker's alive. And then, of course, we have fresh lobster. Do-do-do-do-do-do. I mean, this is an experience, but it's a virtual experience. And the thing that I want to make a big deal about, we are an industry that can jump into those virtual experiences because we have the ability to touch, get people involved. It's incredible. So I just thought I'd put that out there. Everybody's like, I got to go to Morton's soon. But any steakhouse you go to.
Well, I love that you used a steakhouse because, men are much more loyal than women are, and they come in 12 times a year. So they're your prime cut. So you can beef up your men's sales because the stakes are high.
Oh, my God.
All right. Sorry, I digress. I just had to say that.
Okay, back to the commandments. So we talked about the environment.
So next one's businessman. 89% of men surveyed said that grooming was essential to success in today's business world. The thing that we need to keep in mind is today's businessman is much more time sensitive than his female counterpart. Men tend to work on appointments all throughout the day. Because men tend to pre-book and they love the ease of coming in every 4 weeks, which is twice as much as women, they expect their service provider to take them on time. If they schedule out a 4 o'clock appointment with their service provider, they expect to be taken at 4 o'clock. They're not going to be nearly as liberal, as forgiving as their female counterpart is going to be.
That's a big point. As a service giver, we talk about crimes against the business. How long is too long? In a man's world, and again, I think this could be true of anybody who actually reserves time, maybe a little more perturbed if you're running late. So, but the man, especially driven by a clock and other appointments, I think that's a big aha just right there. Just learn something myself to make a bigger deal about, because I can refund your money if you didn't like your hair, but I can never give back time. And I think it's something we got to understand. And the other thing you hit on, Sammy, was the look and appeal of a guy going to work to get a job these days. If you're working construction, that's one thing. But if you're out and about and you've got a job and there's a suit involved, or you're working, so many ways, your hair is one of those things. Even for a female, first way they look at it is hair, two-toe. They're checking it out and just seeing the mane you have, seeing how that would work with their genetics, planning the future. I think it's a big part. We've been trying to drive traffic using Mitch as the reason for the season. So we're doing a couple of different things here. PB, which is our kind of outdoor location with walk-in, we're taking a very sex sells Super Bowl approach. We've coordinated some bikini-wearing yellow and very Mitchified colors and making it a very outdoor guerrilla warfare event. And we've had other events there that weren't so scantily clad that did seem to bring a lot of men from the neighborhood over. A real representation of how cute everybody is that works in the salon. People just be stopping in their cars. So we're really going out there like a beach event, if you will. Downtown, we're taking a much different approach. We're sort of going out to the females in the world and saying, trade them in. Bring them in. Does your man need a makeover? So we're actually setting up a business day separate to any other that's really about bring your guy in for a makeover. We're going to call him the Mitch man of the salon. They'll receive some Mitch products throughout the year, but we're really looking for the women to say, is your man a fixer-upper? Sharper as the tagline, and we use the tag from the company, style isn't born, it's groomed. So we're kind of working on those two things because we really believe behind most men's images is a great woman's imagination.
For sure. It's funny you bring that up because according to a recent Green Book survey, women control 80% of U.S. households, and 48% of men said they are more likely to try a new product or service if it was recommended by their spouse. So women have a huge influence in how you're going to fix up your man.
Well, see, even in our locale where we put our Mitch, our what I think you called it, the groom with a view.
Groom with a view.
It's all along these parallel walls to the wash house. And no guest in my salon can really dodge that area. So you could be a female guest enjoying color and a haircut. At some point, you're going to go through the wash house tunnel, and there you're going to be exposed to all the beautiful men in the salon. And I think men like it just as much. I love having the kind of it's my least favorite word, unisex, but I love having this co-ed salon that's making a big deal about both sexes. So not just sort of slendering out one that you're focusing on, making a big deal on the other side, which I think our Mitch wall has really done. And it's only 7 stations. But if I was to take that concept to a 8-chair salon, it could be 2 stations. One of our Vegas stores, we actually did a kind of take-home area with a couple of stations so they could have services in any part of the salon, which are very unified and consistent. But when they're finished after that last shampoo, before they go to the groom part, they step into a styling station that actually has all the take-home products available. So it's very much point-of-purchase styling. So you're getting all the stuff, and there's what you need, and you go right to the desk and check out. So it's kind of a finishing station towards Mitch, which is only 2 stations deep, but wrapped around this beautiful take-home, all this sensory stuff, all the things we want to say about this incredible brand.
So it's a new manscape in your salon for guys to see.
Yep, love it.
You talk a little bit about hair color. One of the commandments we talk about is manifesto. Hair color is a vital statistic listed on your driver's license, and that's how women describe their man. 3 out of 4 women say it's the first thing they notice about a man. And men's hair color has now gone extreme. Or mainstream, rather. It can be extreme or it can be mainstream. It can be, the subtle hue of James Blonde. It can be a few guy lights. I love the ombre technique that a lot of girls are doing. I want to create a men's color technique called ombre. Or back to cool. But more men are talking about hair color than they ever have before. And that's why Mitch works so perfectly in our salons, because that sulfate-free shampoo not only has a great hardy lather, but it makes your man-made hair color last longer. And as young men get hair color, and even older men are trying to blend their gray, hair color's gone mainstream, and it's really relevant now in all of our salons.
Well, it's a big part of what I think about it as Paul Mitchell's leader, that you're really got to build traffic and revenue through service. And the take home is a percentage of that. But the reality is we want to help salons build their businesses. And that's the big part of where I think this is so valuable. So whether you have a male clientele you celebrate, how could you take it further? How could you see a guy instead of 8 times a year, 12 times? That changes everything. How can you really get into this, and how can you do certain events? So it's kind of creating a niche for Mitch, seeing other ways you can activate an opportunity in your marketplace that you weren't. And especially if you've got a crew, and, I have this in certain locations, if every single stylist in your salon's fully committed, that's one thing. But if you're sitting around and there's times in your day it looks like the Maytag store where there's no maintenance being done, then you could actually really do with filling in some slots. And again, looking at what you could do to create a male clientele on certain off-peak times to get them in and out, whether it's a lunch hour point of view. I think it's a big part of what we got to do is make each part of the efficient business day successful. I could see this for a lot of salons being a great way to kind of build out to a new network, not selling existing clients more services in this particular occasion, but actually finding a way to build your business and increase what we call bums and seats, get more traffic. That's truly what we're doing as a salon to really get behind Mitch. We're using it to see people we haven't met yet. So really going off on the groom, the makeover. One of the ladies we work with, Deanna Schmicky, this is a lady that does George Clooney's hair. She's been on the Oprah show, but the Oprah episodes are some of my favorite. Not that she does Georgie, but every show she does for Oprah is makeover driven. Maybe guys have been living with woolly beards and haven't had haircuts, and she's just transformed transforming these guys, and it's quite a magical feeling. And I think for most women, if they were to secretly get down low and be honest for a minute, how many of you women right now would be, oh, I could change my man's hair real easy? Most of us are hairdressers, it's easy. But for the average woman out there, she's looking at her man going, oh, if he would just do something with his hair, put a little gel in it, put some gel in the back. It's just amazing. So I know I've had clients and guests come in where the man sitting in my chair is supervised by his girlfriend or spouse, and I don't know who to talk to, her or him. And I hate that situation because I want to make a relationship with him, but she's sitting there as the wingman going, could you just cut this? And, I just want to pass over the scissors at that point. But anyway, we know females are in control. There's no doubt.
Well, and this is the thing. You brought up a really good point. There's nothing worse as a hairdresser on a Tuesday or Wednesday going in and seeing, huge vacancies in my book. Men like the ease of pre-booking every single time. They're going to come in for their tune-up just like they change their oil in their car every 3,000 miles. So every 4 weeks, guys don't want a real drastic change in their haircut. They want to look the same every single day. No dude wants to leave the salon and have someone point at him and go, dude, you got your haircut. So the ease of always having the exact same look every single time is money-making ideas for us here in the salon. If a guy comes in at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, that speaks to me and says, you know what, he's going to come back 4 weeks from today at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Guys like the convenience of a routine. He's probably not going to change it. He's probably not going to suddenly come in at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. He likes the, if he wants to come in at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, that's when he's going to come in. Now, if we say that men are from Mars and women are from Venus, one of the things we really need to understand is men have different bywords than women do. So when we speak to men, we have to suddenly learn Martian. We have different ways that we react to product and services.
So you went from Mars, Venus, so we're Martians?
Well, we're kind of like, we speak a different language. Okay. A big byword on Venus would be free and sail and love. Go home and ask your husband what his favorite 4-letter word is. It's not going to be free or sail or love. Okay. It's going to be beer.
Glad you cleared that up there.
Thought I'd help you out. But embrace words like control, define, customize, recharge, hybrid, sharp, detail, strong, bulk up. It's how guys describe their hair. And why that dialogue of the number 2 guard became so powerful in salons was not so much that guys really wanted that number 2 guard. It was an easy way for a man to say to his service provider, this is how long I want my hair. Uh-huh. So if we start speaking words that men understand, do you want to define your hair? Do you want to give you a tailor-made look? Can we make you look like a sharp-dressed man? Yeah. Give you a cool hue of James Blonde? It will speak differently to our men's guests.
Okay. So, one thing, so we talked about the look of the salon, and now we're talking about what's in our heads, guys. What are we doing to hone in on these new words, this new dialogue? So it's definitely a commitment, because the thing I've loved about the Mitch Project is just jumping into the numbers, like getting all the numbers and the data and really starting to understand. I did one presentation, maybe in Europe, maybe it was stateside, but when I finished, everybody goes, oh my God, he knows me so well. And all I was really doing is out of the marketing department, all the great stuff out of your head, I just kind of given the broadcast of Mitch. But the way these 4 models felt like, oh my God, he knows us so much. So I think that really says that we didn't just do this because we could. We did it because we see something vital that salons, whether you're a barber shop, whether you're a full-service salon, a high-end salon, Mitch can live in so many different areas. The biggest boom in our industry this last few years has been barbershops, the resurgence of that. I remember as a child my dad going to the barbershop. I still never get that vision out my life of all the memories. That one's just sunken in there. It was a highlight, and here you're seeing it kind of resurging. And it's a huge, some of the greatest chain salons that are growing right now have got a lot to do with a specific niche towards men. That's pretty phenomenal. So we are going to have to commit as a team to learn the new dialogue, to really get some man-savvy words, that the girly words you use are not going to work. And trust me, we used to make this joke about ruby slippers. You're not going to walk up to any male client and say, I'm going to put on ruby slippers today. He's not going to go for it, even if he's Hugh Hefner. So you've got to switch up the words. And I think that's what I love the most about the research you've done. A lot of these words, if they just give you examples of the words, then as a team, I could go home with those benchmarks, Sam, and throw those around to my team to set up the sort of types of things we're looking for. And I know out of their mouths, I'm going to get the type of things that would align align our team to what type of man words we want to use as a salon. And I would actually say, as a coach for the whole company, I'd imagine each salon may choose different sets of bywords towards the male customer specifically.
For sure. So it's just, embracing a new mentality. And as we go back and have our salon, debriefings, we come up with a manuscript, a script that men understand that speaks to our male guests, will allow our male guests to feel more comfortable when they ask for products and services in the salon.
All right.
With that manuscript, my other recommendation would be for all of us to create a manual. Just a tiny little one card of short, medium, and long haircuts. Say for a guy to be able to point to it and go, this is how I want my haircut. So that we can get out of the clipper over comb or the number 2 guard. And he can say that, I kind of like the fact that this is more turbocharged or it has more energy on the top. Every issue of Men's Health magazine or Details magazine that I read shows a different way that you can shave and how to style your hair. Guys aren't great at communicating how to style their hair. We're not good at directions and we're not good at fashion advice. But we need both.
All right. I love that tag.
So for you to be able to say, lift up your hair a little bit and put the blow dryer down at the base to give you more volume. Or, guess what, guys? Wet hair dilutes the hold of gel. It's important that we share that with our male guests. Our grooming day consisted of one day with our father where he taught us how to shave. That was it. We didn't sit around at slumber parties like teenage girls did and said, your face is round, you should grow a beard.
Sammy, for a fact, I know you did. So thanks for trying to relate to the rest of us. So there's definitely ways we can communicate. So a storyboard book would be the key. And we used to do this all the time. Here's a picture of any haircut you're going to want.
Yeah.
And, it's all in there. And it can be relative to times. I have no problem using Brad Pitt or different people in that lookbook. It's not a billboard on the front of my salon. It's really a personal communicator because guys do respond to the actual visual and may not know the words.
For sure.
And this could be a great way to become a teaching artist to really take them a little further on that. What's the next commandment?
The next commandment is manuscript. Every guy wants to be able to get the ideal body. So we can make him a wise guy by properly making a routine for him at home. Whether it's the now 6 styling products that we have for Mitch, because every guy wants a 6-pack without having to do a sit-up.
All right.
But showing him that, wet hair will dilute hold, just a little bit of construction paste, emulsify it in the palms of your hands, or just, give yourself a golf clap to activate the mesh fibers and just flip, hooray. Just a little scrub in your hair to add a little bit more volume so that you become the messenger of the message. Show guys how to sweep his bangs off of his forehead with a 413 or place a little construction paste between the palms of your hands to help really activate it. Guys need to learn how to manipulate product and how to work it in their hair so it doesn't just become that something about Mary scene that we all have so driven in our minds.
Well, that was a big point when I asked Deanna what was the biggest number one complaint. She said application. They weren't ever putting it in the back or the right place. And once she told me that, I'd be out in the street and just spot it. Everything you can see in the mirror was covered. And what was in the back part was, luckily you weren't at church. So, it's a big part of that education, which is what they thrive for. They want to be taught. And I think if we're prepared to do the teaching, they're going to be loyal to us. That's the big payoff for us.
Sure.
So that loyalty thing is something never to be taken lightly, because the loyalty factor of any guest you have is huge, and men have an even larger degree specifically want to be loyal to people just like you and I. You can't shake them loose. I was in the salon last week and I met a client I used to do 22 years ago, still loyal to the salon and the location, just driven by it, and I've had situations where I pick up a new male guest and I go, well, who did your hair before? And they go, well, my barber died or my girl left town or, whatever it was. They were just, their life was topsy-turvy because of it. So they are committed. And I think that's what makes them worth having, is that long-term commitment, more loyal than even a color client. That's huge.
They're much more loyal. And then finally, one of the things that really helped grow my business was your idea of a menu. And when we created a color menu at my salon, we had a female menu and then we had a men's color menu. Now, the men's color menu didn't have nearly as many options. It only had about 5 or 6. But guys want to be able to create their own unique style on their stage. It's not just for rock bands anymore. So whether it's on the bar, the beach, or the ballpark, guys want a range of color that goes from fun and flashy to sexy and smooth. So ideas of guy lights or gray blending, just to pinpoint what his needs are and allow him to be able to express his own personal style in an affordable mark. Maybe it's just a 10-minute, $10 hair color just to introduce him to color. Or maybe he wants the Hawaii 5-0, which we used for years, just 5 foils just to brighten it up so he has that surfery kind of beachy look. Everybody wants to be able to express their own personal style, and hair color is a great vehicle for men.
Okay.
So my next 2 commandments are fundamental and craftsmanship. Avoid using terms like the number 1 guard, but rather would you prefer your hair shorter on the sides and longer on the top? A growing number of male guests opt out of salon services for a quick clipper cut at home. So our chairside dialogue of which guard to use needs to go in the retirement home. When we look at a guy's haircut, decide whether you want to build that look up or whether you want to tear it down. And what tool do you want to use? I'm going to use my clippers or I'm going to use my shears. Now, I love that you're my coach and I get to take your DVD and study it with Takashi and Giuseppe. But by becoming an expert at clipper over comb and scissor over comb, it allows me to tailor make a look for my men that they cannot create at home, which translates into more dollars for me.
Well, I think that's a big stab out for our profession. Yeah, guys. It's not... it seems a little in the corner point of view. We love to be in a corner sometimes. The corner is we believe in an industry and we believe in that hairdresser spirit, barber spirit. And my biggest enemy anywhere, it's the Flowbee at home, it's home hair color at home. It's all of that. I was checking the mail this morning and one of my neighbors, I live in a maybe 500 apartment complex, had Wen, which is that beauty product you buy on the internet. And I wanted to go check out the number and knock on her door. Really? That's where you're resorting to buy your beauty regime? It should happen in the salon is my point, guys. That's the point of it. Whether we're talking about Pro Tools and how we deserve as an industry to reclaim that 98% of the business, or whether we're looking right now at losing hair color to drugstores, or services to a clipper company that shows you clippers 1, 2, and 3, how to get a short back and sides. Where's the sex and the sinky? Where's the experience? I still use that tag. We launched one of the Mitch things. Is your husband having a haircut or a haircut experience? What we're selling, guys, no matter where you are, is the experience. We're selling the sizzle, and the reason to come back is for that experience. The length of your hair is not the determining factor. So I love that you're taking a real professional stand, Sam, which I think says a lot for who you are. As much as we have a lot of fun with this, it means something. It means something to the industry, and we're not putting off people who use the dialogue. I'm just saying, if you want to create a demand for yourself, it's in your favor to create that unique demand on you. Don't put it on the machine or the clipper number 2. It's about you. You're the individual, and that's who I want to see the client and the guest loyal to.
Well, no, I mean, for sure. And I'm not saying make all of your guards go away. I mean, I'm going to leave you today, and I have a jam-packed day in the salon, all filled with men's haircuts. And sometimes I just need to shear right through it with a number 3 guard to get rid of some bulk. But it's the customizing and it's the tailor-making of clipper over comb and being able to make every single haircut unique to the guy that sits in my chair, to add more energy, to add more of a turbo boost, just to reduce some weight. So, and I certainly understand that if you're got back in that corner and you're always using a clipper with a guard, then my recommendation would be call your ex-boyfriend and offer him a free haircut today. And today's the day you're going to practice your clipper over comb for the very first time.
Well, I think this is a human nature we challenge. I don't care if you're Takashi and you can cut with scissors over comb like a laser. I would see Takashi giving it a whirl with a clipper and trying on different things because, when we really think of what started this was a Mitch initiative. And guys, I think you've already kind of got the power of an initiative. An initiative isn't just hoping something new happens and going about it the same old way. It's really setting that we've set up new real estate. We've set up new dialogue and new words to use. And what I'm saying, does that go along with some skill set? Then the answer is yes. Currently at Paul Mitchell, we're training people harder than we ever have. And that's ironic because our company's growing faster, doing more things at the speed of sound. And what I love about that is the fact that we have chosen as a company to set standards. What I love about people getting better with a pair of clippers, no matter what it is, or honing in on the skill, that's what education's all about, is going home every day and go, I'm better than I was yesterday. Let's never forget that. It's more than building your business, building you, the brand, building you, the hairdresser. I think that's the big power of Mitch. There's this initiative. You're going to build your words, build your look. You're going to build the tools you use. You're going to expand your horizons and perhaps extend yourself to a guest you've never met before, really is what we're talking about. It's a bigger and better use. So I think that's the offset to it. And I think what we're going through here with the different commandments is so many ways to make another division of your business, if you will. That's what's exciting about it, Sam.
For sure. And, I'm so excited about Mitch. It's been a long time in coming. Every guy needs a wingman to make him look good. Mitch comes through with a fresh initiative that I believe speaks to the men's market. It's created just for men. It's modern manpower, grooming made easy. And it's so easy, even a guy can use it. It comes in color-coded packaging, whether it's, the hybrid of hardwired or just the high shine of Barber's Classic. It fits every single guy that sits in my chair. It allows me the styling versatility. A lot of guys have two sets of products, one for their office or gym bag and one at home.
All right.
So not only is it going to speak to product sales for me, but it also shows me that I can deliver many different products and many different styles for the guys that come into my salon, whether they're 22 or whether they're 52.
Well, obviously, with this audience, I'll keep you guys abreast of some of the numbers and data. We've just now racked and packed Mitch for the very first time in our downtown store. We've had it in Vegas because we launched there when we did Gathering. They had some remarkable results immediately as a take-home item. So we'll keep you on the data, the result of which, and again, some of the data we come from is from your mind. So as we learn, we'll share. That's what Pursuit of Happy Business is. So let's recap, Sammy. We had 12 commandments. Let's go through them real quick.
So the 12 commandments are first, number one is measurement, a $61 billion industry. I certainly want to be a part of that. Number two is environment. Create a groom with a view, our new manscape.
Perfect.
Number three is businessman, time commitment. If I schedule an appointment at 4 o'clock, take me at 4 o'clock. My fourth commandment is alignment, direct mail. Allow me the opportunity to see that you want my business in the salon. Fifth one, manifesto, know and tell. Show me how to use the products and how to style my hair. The sixth one, mentality. What guys want to hear? It's my bywords. Number 7, manual. Picture it. Just a few pictures of what my hair can look like after you're done styling it. Number 8, fundamental, on guard. Number 9, craftsmanship. Tailor make a hair design for me so I don't look like every other cookie cutter haircut. Number 10, manageable. I love Mitch because it's easy product explanations and it's the 6-pack I've always wanted to be able to style my hair at home. Number 11, manuscript. Become my styling coach. Men don't ask for directions or fashion advice, but you can show me how I can make my hair look amazing at home. And then finally, menu. It's a man's world, so show me a menu with pictures of guys on it so that I know what to expect whenever I'm all done with my service.
Wow. Sammy, I know you've done everything to do with the industry. You've been a sales manager. You're currently a learning leader at San Diego, Paul Mitchell's school. You work in the salon. You've worked in my salons. We've worked together for many, many years. You just had an incredible victory at Gathering, Signature Gathering. You want to share this because a lot of the guys that listen to this stuff are on point with what the vision is, and I know you were selected out of 1,000 educators to have that role. So you want to talk about that experience?
I got to say that it was my absolute career honor to be able to work with you and Takashi and Giuseppe and Diana to launch what has been an initiative near and dear at my heart for the past 15 years, and that's us getting involved in the men's market. To be able to communicate that to 3,500 of our top guests worldwide under the banner of John Paul Mitchell Systems, and have John Paul come up and say to me after I launched Mitch, Sam Burns, 32 years ago, Paul Mitchell and I did a show for you in Washington, D.C., and you joined my company, and my company would not be where it is today if it wasn't for you. Was just a career highlight. It moved me and touched me like nothing I've ever had the opportunity to do before. It's my honor to represent John Paul Mitchell Systems. It was humbling, and I really thank you for the opportunity.
Well, the feedback was immense. It's amazing when you get somebody who's passionate about something. And, your point of view, I think it's very global. It fits everywhere. But again, like all the people listening to this, it's your job to interpret it. Kind of Sammy's point of view, my point of view. It becomes your ideas when you take these ideas as nuggets and then filter them through your team and put them into live action. The camaraderie and the team support, when I think of our build out this weekend being 2 days in the salon, the amount of people that really want to get involved and really make a difference in their life. To me, what I love about this interview is we've given you many ways you can go back and immediately get the team engaged, get right back to changing some of the layout of your salon, getting committed as a team for the dialogue, getting our lookbooks, our manuals together. I just think this is incredible because it's going to really build the business. When we work together, Sam, as an industry kind of icon, what's the kind of mark, the legacy, if you will? What do you want to leave on the industry? What's the mark Sam Byrne wants to leave? When people go, oh, Sam Burns, remember him? He did what? What's the mark you want Sammy Burns?
So the legacy I want to leave behind is this. I want to have people say that I inspired them, that I taught them how to make more money behind the chair, that they had fun at work. You spend 8 hours a day at work. Have fun, celebrate it. This is the best industry in the world. So celebrate the fact that I have the privilege and the honor of doing your hair, and I get paid for it. And if you have fun at work and you make money and I inspire you just a little bit to reach just a little bit higher and commit just a little bit more, my legacy will have been filled.
That's incredible. Well, one thing I'll tell you guys, we're in the studio. I've got him strapped down to a table. If ever you get the opportunity to see Sam Burns live, you got to go see it. It's like nothing else. He gets around all over the network. I think with Mitch being such a huge success, you're going to see more and more of him. Our job is to take Sammy on the road. Yippee-yi-yay! Here he comes to a city near you. But just congratulations, Sam. Thank you for being a great example from Paul Mitchell that it's not always about young kids popping up on stage, that you've been committed to our company for years and years. We can say decades. And here you are still breathing life like a brand new kid and giving us a whole reason for the season and really helped us a lot on this whole Mitch initiative. On behalf of the company, we want to thank you forever. So from Sam Burns, hello, gorgeous, inspired. We've now heard the 12 commandments. Next season, we're going to get him on the 7 deadly sins. I asked him which ones he had committed. He said, which way did I want him to list them? So to give you an idea who you're talking to, thank you so much, Sam.
It's my pleasure.
And thanks for joining us on The Pursuit of Happy Business. Happy business. Happy business.